Hello, everyone, and welcome to Rebirth Summit 2026. I'm Philip Woolfolk, Managing Director of Main Street Advisory and Philip Speaks. Through Main Street Advisory, I facilitate funding for real estate investors and entrepreneurs. Through Philip Speaks, I'm an author, speaker, coach, where I provide engagements in the areas of financial literacy, home ownership, real estate investing, and self-empowerment, facilitating transformation from limiting beliefs to possibility thinking. Today, I have the pleasure of interviewing Dr. Benjamin Clinton. Welcome to the show, Doc.
Hey, Philip.
Oh, good. I thought you were muted there for a moment.
Yeah,
So
we
give me
froze for a second. I'm not sure what happened there.
yeah, so give me a second to just share a little bit of your bio here. So Dr. Benjamin Clinton is a leadership speaker, trainer, and former school district leader with 20 plus years in public education. He has led high stakes turnaround work as a principal, deputy superintendent, and superintendent, moving struggling campuses to A-rated performance through clear expectations, coaching systems, and disciplined execution. Dr. Benjamin is the founder of Beacon Administrative Consulting and the author of Teaching What Every Employer Wants. A John Maxwell certified coach, he trains leaders and teams to turn chaos into clarity and build cultures where people follow through. He was an international top 10 finalist in the Next Top Speaker tournament. Dr. Benjamin holds an economics degree from Rice University and a doctorate in education leadership. Great to have you be a part of this conversation, Doc.
Thank you so much, Philip. It's a pleasure to be here.
So tell us a little bit about what life was like before your transformation. Describe for us, if you can, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Just help us feel where you were when you started.
Yeah, Philip, the story that I talk about is a little bit different. I speak about a school transformation, really the
Okay.
full turnaround of one of the toughest high schools in Texas. But I'll tell you, it does start with, I guess, with me going into college. I went off and got a chance to attend Rice University, graduated with a degree in economics. And in my senior year, like every kid graduating from Rice with a degree in economics, the future was pretty clear. You get a
Right.
job in managerial consultant in consulting, or you go into finance, maybe you become an actuary. But in
Hmm.
my senior year, I took an education course and it got me thinking. So much had been given to me to be able to get into Rice and to be able to play football at Rice. I needed to give something back. And I had
Right.
friends who were going off to the Peace Corps and doing things like Teach for America. I
Hmm.
found a school in South Texas, highest poverty rate in the entire nation at that point, and I
Hmm.
decided to teach just for 2 years. I saw it like community service. I was going to
Right.
teach for 2 years and go off and get my real job after that. Well, Philip, I went in there and it seems like from the very first week, it just got its hooks in me. I loved it.
Hmm.
Making a
Yeah.
difference with kids, the people that I was working with, such a spirit for service and
Yeah.
changing lives, the community that I was around. I taught for 6 years.
Hmm.
And then at the end of that, I got another calling. I worked on my master's and I was so happy. I got my very first assistant principal job at a high school.
Yeah.
Around the same time, the principal there had been transferred to another school. And so in my first days as an assistant principal, I didn't have a principal there with me.
Hmm.
And then they told me that I was going to be the next principal with only 10 days of experience as an assistant. And I understood why. We were a
Right.
failing school. The
Hmm.
state had labeled us as academically unacceptable,
Right.
and we were dangerous.
Hmm.
Drugs, gangs, violence. You walk down the halls and you saw graffiti everywhere.
Yeah.
Nobody else wanted that job. And so
Hmm.
I go back and that's really where we're at. Before that
Right.
transformation, it was a school that people fell into two buckets. There were
Yeah.
people who knew how bad the school was doing,
Right.
they just accepted that Well, that's who we are. We're not meant to be. We're not good enough.
Hmm.
This is just how we have it. And
Right.
then there was another group that was just blind to it.
Hmm.
They were just carrying on business as usual and maybe intentionally blind, but just didn't realize how bad it was. But that was the
Yeah.
situation that I was placed into with 10 days of
With
experience.
10 days of experience.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about, what was this turning point? you know, what happened there that was, if there was a major moment or something that really forced change? How did you connect with some of the other leaders in that school environment to get them to really kind of back you up with the idea that you could transform this place?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you the first one. There were a couple of transformational moments. The first one was the very first day that they had named me assistant principal. I remember I was in the parking lot early by myself. Nobody else was there yet. And I was sitting in my truck and I was just gripping the steering wheel so tight. I can remember my knuckles were turning white. I was nervous about it. I
Right,
knew
right.
that I knew that I wasn't really ready for the job.
Yeah,
There was this turning point where I made a decision. I decided to just step forward
yeah.
and to believe in my team. So that
Hmm.
turning point was when I opened the door and put my foot on the ground and made that decision to just believe in the team. I met with the team that first day and I let them know I don't know everything. I don't have all the answers,
Right,
but I believe in this team. I believe that if we come together and we work on this as a team, we can turn this place around. And so we
right,
moved forward, and that was a big turning point. That was that first point where I decided to just put a 10 on their head and
right,
put a 10 on my own head and just believe in that team.
right.
So we worked hard, but there was another turning point that I look back at and believe that it was the only way we could sustain that momentum. We
Hmm.
worked hard. People stepped up, did more than they had ever imagined doing. We got
Yeah,
to Thanksgiving break, and that week, everybody, takes their week off and they go home and they recharge, spend time with family and friends. And I was in my office, and it was the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and I had put
mhm,
in a 12-hour day, and I could feel that I was about to break, that
yeah,
it was about to be it for me. I can just feel that overwhelm about to hit me. I've been
yeah.
working 16-hour days, and I thought at that moment, hey, if I'm about to break, I'm not the only one working hard here.
You're right,
Everybody on that campus was giving their all. And I
right.
know if I was going to break, I couldn't lead them effectively. And if they all broke, they couldn't lead the kids. And so the
Yeah.
turning point was where I decided that we were going to get clear, that we were
Mm.
going to focus. And so when the staff came back, we went in and sat together and got ultra focused on where we were going and
You're
what we
right,
were doing. It meant that we needed to stop doing some things, even
you're
good
right.
things, to focus on the work that was moving us toward our goal
Yeah,
and to get clear on what that goal actually was. And so for me,
yeah,
those were the two turning points, having the courage to step forward
right.
and becoming very clear on where we were going and how we were going to get there so that the work could be sustained.
Oh, sure, sure. So tell us a little bit about, what did that part of the transformation feel like? And take us through the process of, you know, what were other people on your team communicating to you at that point that allowed you to feel that you were on the right path?
Yeah, if you just look in this transformation, and I've seen it happen quite a few times in my 21-year career, if you
Hmm.
just look, you see it. In that
Yeah.
first week, people just started to step up when I believed
Hmm.
in them. So we were a group of teachers who had been in a failing school, and it wasn't the first year. It had been
You're right.
year after year of failure, and the students
Hmm.
had been dealing with it too. We had kids who were juniors and seniors in high school that they had been failing the state exam every year since they were in sixth grade. So it's just
Yeah.
year after year of failure, and you can feel that. Well, when
Right.
we went in and just started to believe and people were stepping up, you could see it in their faces. You
Hmm.
could feel it as you walked down the hall, that hope. was starting to creep back into what we were doing.
Yeah.
And along the way, we had the, I guess, the audacity, me being a brand new principal, to do some things that other people would have thought were just crazy. I look back, one of
Hmm.
the things that had the biggest impact and that made the biggest difference on how I felt and how we felt in the school, I decided to take the 10 boys who were causing the most chaos on our campus, the
Yeah.
kids who were gang leaders, the kids who were getting in fights persistently, the ones who were bringing drugs onto campus sometimes, that had a
Yeah.
history of that. I formed a leadership club with those kids. These kids were
Hmm.
leaders. They were just leading everybody in all the wrong direction. But I decided to sit with those boys once a week, not so that I could lecture them, not so that I could tell them the way things were, more to listen for them, just
Right.
to show up. And throughout the year, those boys started to turn around.
Yeah.
And we saw it around us too. The school was transforming. By the end of the year, you felt it. And we made massive academic gains through that year.
Yeah. So those leaders that were leading folks in the wrong direction kind of help you turn things around.
Absolutely. When I mean, now these weren't angels. These kids, they did
Right.
not become angels. But I'll tell you that. So I thought that it was a huge win that year when we made
Hmm.
those big academic gains. I thought it was an even bigger win after a couple of years when all 10 of those boys had graduated. But I'll tell you,
Yeah.
the real win came about 10 years later. I was still in the same
Hmm.
district. And one of those young dads came up to me, "Hey, Mr. Clinton, remember me?" It was one of my boys from that club.
Right.
And he was there with his daughter.
Hmm.
And he was taking her to get her first honor roll certificate. Well, that
Wow.
kid had been through some stuff. I knew that young man's history. He was in a home environment that would have crushed anybody else. And somehow he made
Hmm.
it through. And here we were 10 years later. His daughter was getting honor roll certificates, something that he never would have gotten when he was in school. And it snapped for me
Yeah.
that we
Right.
make a difference for this young man, and it's generational. We can change. He had
Oh,
changed,
absolutely.
but he
Yeah.
hadn't just changed, he was changing that entire family. She would never experience what he had had to go through. And man,
Right.
that hit me.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's a powerful piece of just something to confirm the impact that
Yeah.
you're having over time.
Mhm.
And it is generational. So tell us a little bit about your journey now. What are you up to? How has life changed and what's different now?
Yeah, well, so now I'm trying to spread this to others. At that school, I moved into central administration after the process of being a high school principal. And I got to a point where I was able to coach other principals and really lead them through how to do this work
Yes.
and spread it. And I'm really happy to report, looking back, that school, that high school that I was at, we made massive academic gains. Um, I went into district leadership. We had three other schools that were
Hmm.
failing schools. We
Yeah.
were able to work with those principals, and they were able to turn things around um, by basically doing the same things, focusing on people, focusing on
Right.
caring about the people around them, getting really clear on what they were doing. And I look back, even after I left the district, I'm proud
Hmm.
to watch that school and see that that went from one of the lowest performing schools in the state to the top performing school in the region.
That's awesome. So tell us a little bit about, in terms of your message, what would you say to other school administrators, principals that may find themselves, similarly situated in districts that are performing poorly? What would you say to them?
Yeah, the big message that came from it was that content knowledge mattered. We
Hmm.
had to make sure that teachers knew what they were going to teach. I don't want to discount that,
Right.
but it was never the most important thing. The
Hmm.
most important thing that we did was to look at the other, very often overlooked skills.
Hmm.
connecting with students, clearly communicating with stakeholders, going back to make sure that we were working as a team, that the adaptability was there. Uh, It was those things that turned it around, and it wasn't just our school. It was everything
Right,
that I'd ever looked at. Those are really what lead to a transformation, not the technical skill, those other
right.
skills.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Benjamin. It's been an honor and a pleasure listening to you share your heart and share this powerful story. Certainly, this is a beacon of hope for, I'm sure, for other schools that know about your history and know about this story. There, this is another incredible conversation here on Rebirth TV, another story of unyielding courage. I'm Philip Woolfolk, and it's been an honor to host this interview as part of this global movement for healing and transformation. Stay tuned for more interviews from courageous speakers and leaders from all around the world. Until next time, this is Rebirth TV signing off.